This is Wallet Brief, where we break down what actually moved the U.S. economy this week, without the noise. If prices, interest rates, jobs, housing, or taxes are quietly changing your money, this is where you stay informed. Let's get into what really happened this week, and what it means for your wallet. Over the past several years, economists and policymakers have increasingly focused on the long-term financial outlook of the U.S. federal government. Rising national debt levels and growing spending commitments have led analysts to explore different ways governments around the world generate tax revenue. One idea that often appears in these discussions is a value-added tax, commonly called a VAT. This type of tax is widely used in Europe, Canada, and many other developed economies, where it is applied to goods and services as they move through different stages of production. In recent months, policy research groups and fiscal analysts have once again raised the possibility of consumption-based taxes as a potential long-term option for expanding federal revenue. These conversations typically emerge when lawmakers debate deficit projections or examine the structure of the current tax system. This week, that discussion gained renewed attention in economic policy circles as several budget analysts and research organizations highlighted the growing gap between government spending and revenue projections over the coming decades. While no formal legislation related to a national VAT was introduced, the topic appeared more frequently in fiscal policy commentary and expert analysis. Looking at the broader trend, this week fits into a pattern that has been gradually building. The VAT idea continues to circulate as a theoretical policy option rather than an immediate plan. The signal right now remains mixed. Interest in the concept is rising among economists, but political momentum for such a tax in the United States remains limited. For households, the concept of a VAT raises questions about everyday prices. In countries that use this system, the tax is typically included in the cost of goods and services. That means consumers pay it indirectly when buying items such as clothing, electronics, restaurant meals, or transportation services. Supporters often argue that a consumption-based tax could diversify government revenue and potentially reduce reliance on income taxes. Critics, however, point out that such systems can increase the overall cost of everyday purchases if not carefully structured. At this point, there is no immediate change affecting U.S. taxpayers. The conversation remains largely academic and policy-focused, but it does highlight the broader challenge policymakers face as they look for ways to manage future fiscal pressures. Keep an eye on federal budget discussions, deficit projections, and economic policy research coming out of Washington. If the VAT concept begins appearing more frequently in official proposals or hearings, that would signal the debate is moving closer to the policy stage. For now, it remains an idea being examined rather than a tax Americans are expected to see anytime soon. That's your wallet brief for this week. These changes don't always make headlines, but they do change how much you pay, save, and earn. We'll be back next week with the updates that matter. Until then, stay informed and protect your wallet.